Watch Movies.
I'm Ava.
And I'm Jenna.
And we watch movies. So this week we watched Wish Dragon, which is an animated film that came out on Netflix very recently, except Google just says 2020. But it was more recent than that, I swear. Basically, it's about this kid who's kind of poor, and his friend is estranged, I guess. Well, estranged isn't the word. Long lost friend. They grew apart because she moved away when they were little babies, and he just wants his friend back, and he's doing all that he can. Kind of creepy sometimes, but whatever. And then he gets this teapot, and he rubs it, and out pops a dragon who's sassy and makes jokes all the time, and offers him 3 wishes. And no, this isn't Aladdin, I promise. But anyways, we're gonna talk about it. So yeah, Jenna, what was your initial reaction?
I enjoyed it. It was not the most complex movie, and I think while it was fairly similar to Aladdin, like you had told me, like, this is very Aladdin, then I got 20 minutes in and I was like, this is literally Aladdin. I do think it had some charm to it that I enjoyed. I didn't dislike it. It was a pleasant movie.
Yeah, I'm gonna definitely agree with you there. It has a lot of, so it is, when you're watching it, you're gonna see it's very similar to Aladdin in a lot of ways, but there are some significant ways in which it's different, and honestly, I think that the differences are better.
Yes.
I mean, everybody likes Aladdin because it's a classic and whatever, but like, honestly, I feel like this story is a bit more like, it has a bit more, what's the word I'm looking for, Jenna?
Charm, nuance, depth, satisfaction,
substance?
Yeah, okay.
I don't know, because like, when you're thinking about Aladdin, you know, the whole thing is he's trying to make this girl fall in love with him, and then like, they barely know each other, blah blah blah. This one, he's not even trying to make them fall in love with each other, except like, there's one point that kind of annoyed me when he was like, you want to go on a real date? And I was like, no, this was supposed to be about friends. But
yeah,
I don't know.
The movie kind of shifted throughout its runtime. Like, oh, I just want to be friends again, and it was like, dating, you say, and I was like, no. What about that whole power of human friendship? Stick it to the dragon. But no.
I did like that they really hammered home the whole like meaning of life sort of thing, where it's like, oh, you don't need wealth to be happy, and they kind of showed how she wasn't super happy with all her wealth, and they were like showing what really matters in life and everything, and I think that was good. And then, you know, they don't even like, even if they do end up together at the end, it's not like they didn't know each other. And then there's like, you know, everybody kind of changes for the better. Everybody ends up in a better place than they were at the beginning, but not because of like taking the easy way out, I guess, which I liked. I liked that a lot.
Yeah, and I like how even like with the conclusion too, it didn't like magically like fix everything and made it like totally perfect. It just because I feel like that would have ruined everything they were going for with the meaning of life stuff. Like, nothing the movie did necessarily like invalidated something it did before.
Yeah, definitely. And like they did give us some, and like you said, it wasn't very complex. It is very easy definitely for a younger person to understand everything, which I think is good, because I mean, it might not be as like nuanced as say like a Pixar movie or something, but it did a good job of like getting across these heavier topics to like a young audience. I say that as if I'm like a member of that audience. But no, I feel like this is definitely good for its demographic. Because for them, it's probably super thought-provoking, you know?
It's like, I don't have to be rich? What?
So Jenna, seeing as both of us really liked this movie, I was wondering, what would your guess be as to what the Rotten Tomatoes score is for this?
So I actually did look up this movie before this, so I actually know the Rotten Tomatoes score.
It actually did change since the last time I looked at it.
Wait, maybe what was it the last time you looked at it?
Like 70 something.
What? I looked at it today and it said it was like a 63.
Yeah, now it's 63.
What? Why did it fall that much?
I don't know, because I watched it like the day that it dropped. I've noticed something about Rotten Tomatoes, and that's just that the reviews generally are better either before the movie comes out to the general public or like the day that the movie comes out to the general public, because like, you know, I feel like I'm not entirely sure of how this works, but I'm pretty sure movie production companies and everything can sort of pick and choose who they let see their films first. And say there's a reviewer who have liked movies like them before, they're gonna invite them to come see their movie first. And so it's more likely that those people are gonna give them good reviews, and then when it opens up to the general public and then when everybody reviews it, that's when like the bad reviews come in. But I was reading a couple of the reviews earlier, and it seemed like people were very much on the side of like better than Aladdin. But like the Rotten Tomatoes score does not support that.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like a 63 is a little harsh. I mean, I wasn't expecting anything more than like an 80. Like like higher 70s or like very low 80s at most.
Yeah, I feel like it should have done better though, because I can see this being a movie that would be like made by Pixar. It's not 100% in the right style. It's like almost there. And Pixar probably wouldn't have made it since it is so close to Aladdin. But it was definitely giving me those vibes, you know, the kind of story they were telling, the way that they were telling it. And you know, this like style of dragon too, it was reminding me of Raya. I don't know if you've seen Raya and the Last Dragon.
I have not yet, but I did have that thought.
They have the dragoniness with the fluffies, and I just want one of these long dragons, and I want to hug it like they did at the end of this movie, because they're so fluffy and they look like they would be really nice to hug. And like, did you see that hug? It looked like such a good hug, you know?
Would that be one of your wishes, Ava?
No. I would be way smarter about my wish.
I did like at the beginning of the movie. I was really mad when he was like, "I wish I knew how to fight." I was like, "No, amateur mistake." But like having seen the rest of the movie, I was like, "Well, it did work as a plot device." Him learning how to fight, it did come in handy. So I was like, "I get why you did that, but like, dude, know your place." Like,
why don't you just wish for a specific superpower? You know, not fighting. Fighting superpowers are the worst powers. This is kind of unrelated, but like, if anybody's like, "Oh, what kind of superpower would you want?" and you pick something relating to like fighting or combat, you're stupid.
Because you can only use it in like fighting or combat, or you have to be really creative.
If you have super strength, what are you gonna do? You're either gonna like fight people or work at a like construction company for the rest of your life, you know? And there's like no in between. There's so much you can do with like so many other superpowers, but why would you pick combat based ones? Like, what are you gonna do with laser eyes, huh? What are you gonna do with that? You know, and then there's like Taskmaster coming out. Well, not coming out, like gonna be in Black Widow, and I'm like, the Taskmaster is only good with like a combat situation. Like, the only thing that Taskmaster could do with its powers is like be a secret agent, you know? But I digress. That's not what this movie is about. But on that note, Jenna, what would you wish for?
I mean, I know they were like, don't wish for wealth or whatever, but I mean, in this economy, well, like,
I know, right?
Like, I'm not saying I would, like, make myself, like, a Jeff Bezos, like, bajillionaire, but enough to, like, put me through college without debt, like, get a nice house, maybe pay off different loans in the family, like, you know, like, a respectable income that I could use so I didn't have to worry about money for the rest of my life because everything else was paid.
Okay, you mentioned Jeff Bezos, so hear me out. You know how Jeff Bezos can, like, end world hunger multiple times over? So imagine wishing to take over Jeff Bezos's, like, at least his finances, not necessarily his life, but, like, his finances for, like, 24 hours. Okay? First order of business, you end world hunger, okay? Next order of business, you wire a bunch of money to yourself. Okay, so you put yourself through college, you get enough for retirement, you get enough for a house, and you get enough for, like, extra stuff. You make yourself very comfortably rich, but, like, not necessarily Bezos rich. I don't know, you do a couple other things with the money. Ooh, you can make a donation to, like, Disneyland, under your name. And then you'll have, like, a whole land in Disney under your name, but paid for by Jeff Bezos. And, like...
Avaland.
And then... Ooh, no, wait, there's a special really super elite exclusive club in, like, within Disney that you could get into. I don't remember what it's called. It's called something, but, like, it's only for, like, celebrities and rich people, but, like, you could get yourself into that and all this stuff. You can do everything that you want
That
with
sounds
Jeff
like a secret
Bezos' money.
society, Ava.
It is, but whatever. But you can do all of this stuff with Jeff Bezos' money for, like, 24 hours, and then all of it, and then you don't need to deal with the world being like, I wonder where this like, I wonder who this famous person is. They just came out of nowhere and ended world hunger. No. Okay, maybe Jeff Bezos will get credit for ending world hunger. Who cares? Okay, he's already famous enough. Now he has to deal with the random famous people, or just the random people being like, yeah, Jeff Bezos all the time, and you could just live your life. But you're rich.
And you see, that's only one wish.
Literally.
We still have two more.
Diamond play button worth of subscribers. Well, that kind of defeats the whole purpose of, like, the not being famous and the needing money thing.
You can vlog about your experience with Jeff Bezos' money.
Oh my gosh, wait. Okay, something I noticed about this movie that wasn't a thing with Genie and Aladdin is this guy can bring back people from the dead. And so, I feel like this would be kind of in the same vein, but, like, what if I used one of my wishes to make Spider-Man real? And then we could be best friends, and,
Are you thinking of the Tom Holland Spider-Man in particular, or just Spider-Man? Just random Spider-Man generator.
I mean, I guess it would have to be, like, just Spider-Man, because having two Tom Hollands walking around the world would be weird, even though that would be my preference, but, like... I don't know, just, like, Spider-Man. We are really off topic really early into this podcast. We're talking about
this
wishes.
is totally on topic, Ava.
Okay. Yeah. Well, Jenna, how would you use your third wish?
think I've only used one wish so far, but
I thought we
don't know.
collectively used the diamond play button's worth of subscribers.
Okay, that makes sense. I don't know, either do a lot for some charities, or, I don't know. You see, most of the things I really want in life are just, like, because, like, okay, so I've already taken care of, like, all of, like, my future finances, adult stuff, whatever. So, like, I don't know, maybe, like, just buy a lot of books. I don't know, I don't really want that many material things in life.
This whole time, I was waiting for you to say something so that I could go, just get a bunch of books, Jenna. You know you want to. But you beat me to it.
I'm so glad I met your expectations.
You beat me to it. Oh my gosh. What if you, like, gave yourself speed reading ability so you could read every book?
I don't need that. No, just kidding. No,
But,
like, you gotta just sit there and enjoy the ride, you know?
But, like, you could read every book on the face of the planet.
That's a lot of pressure.
Jenna, like, runs out of books, starts turning to the influencer books.
Oh god, no, never. That is a dark day. Ava, you gotta stop me before that happens.
Monkey's Paw Wish instead. Okay, but back on the track of, like, the actual quality of this movie, Jenna, what'd you think of the music?
I mean, I think it was pretty typical fare for, like, a kind of, like, little fantasy contemporary adventure. There were definitely some moments where I was like, oh, hey, like, the music is pretty cool in this scene, but for the most part, it was fine. There wasn't, like, a particularly, like, emotional scene where the music really, like, kicked in, and in the action scenes, it was kind of normal. I didn't get anything special from it.
Yeah, I didn't really notice it. I noticed it a couple times. I was like, Jenna's gonna pay attention to this so I don't have to. But no, you mentioned, like, the action sequences, which I kind of took a little bit of an issue towards, like, the main climax. Because, like, the whole time they were building up her dad as the villain, like, we knew it was him from the very beginning. But then, like, they had the goon take over. And he got Midas powers? Like, that everybody knows. Midas powers are the worst powers.
They really are.
Like, maybe when you ask for, ooh, everything I touch turns to gold. No. Say, on command I can turn things I touch into gold. Boom. Made it better. Immediately so much better.
It's so much easier. That's not English, never mind. It's so easy to screw up using, like, your Midas powers if you're just like, anything I touch. And it's just so contrived to be like, character has this ability. Uh-oh, they used it wrong. That helps things. When it's like, there are so many easy ways that you can avoid this thing. And from a writing perspective, you can still, like, have it be a downfall without it being like, oopsie, I touched a thing I shouldn't have and now it's gold.
Yeah, this movie was doing so well for, like, everything except for its antagonist. That's what I was getting from it, because, like, it had some really good internal conflict and, like, environmental conflict in terms of, like, oh, capitalism is the issue or whatever. But, well, I don't know if they necessarily said capitalism, but you get the idea. But they really fell short with their villains, which I don't even think they really needed an action sequence in this movie. I mean, or not like an action, I'm not saying, like, all the action sequences, but, like, that big climax being, like, the high stakes part is fighting the bad guy, but, like, then again, I remember that it's for kids, and kids like fighting bad guys. But still, I feel like the bad guy is really just kind of where they kind of fell short.
Yeah, and if anything, like, they could have done it right from the start, because having, like, the dad be the ultimate villain, like, you didn't need to do that. Like, him being the one, like, looking for the teapot, like, like, the movie already showed that, like, he's determined to make everything work because he wants to do it for his daughter. Things aren't going well for him and he's desperate. And, like, they could have cut that whole thing and just had the main villain be that one bald guy. And I really don't think it would have affected, like, the story at all.
Yeah, and I mean, they did like the worst neglect of Chekhov's gun ever, because they made this huge deal about how this character was like not taking his hands out of his pockets. And at first I thought that he wanted the teapot because his hands were like disfigured or something, and he wanted to wish for better hands. And because he was all like, "Oh, I'm not showing you my hand," blah, 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 blah. They made this whole big deal about his hands, and then in the end he just took his hands out of his pockets.
Yeah.
And then turned one of them into a Midas hand. But I was like, bro, that's really lame. And it was like disappointing. It was really disappointing because the whole time they were like, "Oh, look at his hands. Look at his hands. We're drawing attention to his hands because he's not using them." And then like, there was nothing wrong with them. And I was like, bro, it was cool how he fought and he was cool, and the whole coolness was the fact that he didn't use his hands. Then at the end you gave him his hands and they were completely normal. I was like, bro, unnecessary.
Yeah, the villainy in this movie kind of gave me the vibe that throughout the writing process they were like, so we have to do something with like villains and bad guys, and they were like, oh well, you know, we have these three and like they're hired by this other person, and they're like, okay, we still need more details, and they're like, oh well, we can figure it out later in the movie, we have these other things to do. And every time they revisited it, the more they were like, we'll deal with that later, until they got to the finale and they were like, oh boy, gotta do something with this. And like, I know that's probably not what happened, but it kind of just felt like they kept dropping the ball and then had to scramble to put something together at the end that had some semblance of like, this is a final battle against good and bad, woo.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I get him taking on the role of Midas, like the literal personification of greed, okay? Fighting like not greedy kid or whatever. But I feel like they were just so unnecessary half the time, and there are different ways that you can get an action sequence without being unnecessary. And I agree with you. They just didn't put enough thought into it where they should have, which is like, again, one of the differences between this and like a Pixar movie. Because say what you want about Pixar, I love it because they think about literally every detail in the whole world. Like Pixar and Disney just as a whole, like everything that they have made, regardless of if you think that the mouse is a cult or whatever, it's just so much thought goes into making it good, except for maybe like the Mulan thing, but we don't talk about that. But just like when you look at something like Soul, like they explain life's purpose, you know, and they explain the meaning of life to small children in a way that's comprehensible. And you know, it's not like they have a bunch of big villains in that one. They didn't need it, you know. They found their own way to make it exciting without needing to do, you know, like a bunch of goons fighting people. Which, not to say that there aren't a bunch of goons fighting people in various Disney movies, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, not every movie has to have like a tangible, like, this is a villain, they do bad things, they hurt people through violence. Like, not every movie needs that. And I understand that, like, sometimes that's the easiest way to, like, force some conflict or, like, motivation into your story. But there are more creative ways around, like, we need to, like, inject some excitement and, like, kind of drive, like, different characters together and, like, shift how people are thinking about the story and the different events inside of it. But I mean, in this movie, like, you didn't, like, really need that. Like, it would have been a kind of a different movie, but you still could have had, like, at the core, the two main characters, like, our main character trying to like find his long lost best friend from childhood. And I think it still would have been pretty effective without having like the goon squad trying to steal the teapot and oh no, someone gets pushed off a roof.
Yeah, no, I fully agree with that. And I also didn't like that the Wish Dragon could bring people back to life, but they couldn't kill somebody. Like,
Well,
that's one of the
dead.
general...
He was dying.
Really? But she
He's
was crying over his lifeless body for a while, my guy.
Yeah, but like, it never like confirmed that like he wasn't breathing.
Yeah, they did. He opens his eyes and goes. That sounds like that.
He could have been like almost dead.
But if bringing somebody back to life wasn't a rule of his, he would have said that when he explained the rules.
True. But I feel like that's also something you would say in like BTW. I can bring back the dead. That's pretty cool.
Maybe he just doesn't want to do it, so he doesn't advertise it, but technically he can. I don't know. Maybe he just doesn't like touching dead bodies, but he'll do it for a friend.
If that's the case, then I'm kind of mad they didn't say anything about Clucky in that regard. Sorry.
Imagine at the end, after Dan makes his final wish, the dragon flies over towards Lena's dad, and she looks up and she's all like, wow. Or something. Well, actually, no, she can't see him. But it makes the audience think that he's gonna go bring Lena's dad back to life, and then he just continues to fly. And then he goes over to Clucky's grave and resurrects Clucky.
Hey, Alita. Sorry your dad died. Well, like, here's the chicken.
I would have paid money to see that. That would have been great.
Any animators out there? Doesn't have to be studio quality animation, honestly. I think I would prefer it if it wasn't.
Oh my god. You know, I wonder, do you think they have a plushie of Long? Which also, I don't know when they named him Long, but like I just kind of accepted it. But if they have a plushie of Long, like a big one, like bigger than body pillow size.
I was just gonna say a body pillow.
No, like longer, but like no, bigger, just bigger in general. I want a giant Long plushie.
I'm Googling it.
Like massive. But like also, yeah, they didn't really tell us that he named him Long. They just kind of named him Long and then just like started saying
Wasn't
like,
he introduced as like Long Zoo?
Maybe. I thought he started calling him Long.
He was Long something.
I thought he started calling him Long because he was long. Did I just miss a whole part of the... Did I just miss a whole part of the movie?
I think you just missed the part where he introduces himself.
Oh! I thought that Din just started calling him Long because he was long.
He wasn't that long, though.
He was pretty long. I would call him Long. He's a long pink dragon.
Okay.
I would definitely call him Long. Everybody's longer than you, Jenna.
Okay, Ava, that was uncalled for.
Oh my gosh. Okay. What else? What else do we need to talk about? I looked at the cast, and I didn't know any of them. I think one of them was in Mulan, but like I said, I didn't watch Mulan. Cause I'm not about that life, you know? I just don't wanna support that.
Yeah, I might check the DVD out from the library someday if I really, want to torture myself someday.
It's not that I mean, it probably is bad. My problem is the fact that they, like, filmed it, like, at a concentration camp
Yeah.
and like thanked the concentration camp.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm allowed to say that word on the internet, but I said it. So. It's not like we're monetized anyways. But yeah,
That's
like I was
pretty
like,
bad.
it's like really bad. I'm like, bro, that's no, bro, bad idea, bro. And they were like, oh, I'll do it anyways.
Yeah, there's a lot of messed up stuff about that movie. Like, even before you even look at, like, anything anyone says about the actual movie, but just, like, production stuff and, like, behind the scenes, I guess is a word you can use for it. There's a lot of messed up stuff that I don't really tolerate.
Yeah, so that's Disney did an oopsie there, but I don't know. I like a lot of the other stuff that they do. They've done a lot of not oopsies in the past, so I can forgive them just this once. I think.
So,
Like,
what did you think about the animation in this movie, Ava?
I liked it. It wasn't quite Pixar level. It was maybe like 2000s Pixar level. It was like a little bit, maybe like a little bit lesser or just around the same as like Tangled. You know, like that.
A little lesser, but I can't tell if that was the actual quality or like I don't
like
know.
the style.
Some part of it seemed a little plain, and that might have just been the style to me.
Yeah, so I don't know how much of it was a stylistic choice and how much of it was like a budget thing, or like a COVID thing. But is that still like an excuse for production? Can we still say, oh, COVID for like movies being bad?
I think so, because a lot of the movies we're seeing now were still made like possibly during production.
Yeah. Okay, we'll give it to you, Wish Dragon. But no, I didn't mind it. If it was like lesser than Tangled, I didn't mind it. It wasn't like bad, you know.
No.
And you know, Long still looked floofy. I still want to hug him. But like also it's weird because like I like Long, but I wouldn't necessarily want to hug the Emperor. You know?
No.
I would want to hug Long, but not the Emperor, which is weird. Because, like, when he was a human, he was all sorts of not cute.
That I can agree with.
But, like, with Raya and the Last Dragon, Shisu, she's, like... she's huggable in both forms. Human and dragon.
Yeah. I can agree with that.
Maybe they have a giant Shisu plushie. I don't have anywhere to put a giant dragon, a giant dragon plushie, but I still want one.
Bungee cord it to the roof of your car,
and just leave it there.
Yep, drive around with it.
I would need like several cars and attach it to several cars and drive around in a train. That would be fantastic.
Put it in a tree.
You know what I want? This isn't like, okay, this only popped into my head because they're like snake-like creatures, these dragons. I want a movie or like some sort of plushie or something of Titanoboa. I love them. They are amazing. And they are cool, and they're the best thing to come out of the dinosaur era. And yeah. Have you seen them? They're like massive snakes.
Did you show me this in Latin?
Yes.
I do remember these big snake boys. Oh, right, because Laocoon got snakes.
Yes, so for those of you who have read the Aeneid, we were translating parts of... Were we in book 2 or book 3?
That was book 2.
We were translating parts of book 2, and my translation was the part where Laocoon gets killed by giant snakes. If you haven't read it, spoilers, Laocoon gets killed by giant snakes. And I was just thinking to myself all about Titanoboa when I was translating it, because, like, they're so cool, and I like snakes, so. But, like, if you've seen, like, I want a plushie of one of these dragons the size of Titanoboa.
That is a very large plushie.
Uh-huh.
You gotta put that in your yard.
I
don't
want
know how big
one,
your
though.
house is, but it's not getting into your house.
Okay, well, I feel like you might be also overestimating the size of Titanoboa.
Well, still, you gotta be able to move in your house. You gotta be able to have the maneuvering space to hug your Titanoboa-sized long plushie.
It could probably fit in one of my living rooms.
You gotta, like, loop it over the couch, like,
well,
over
yeah,
the
it would
TV.
coil up. I would coil it up.
No, that thing's gotta be able to, like, flop all around.
But, like...
It's not the living room anymore, it's the long room now.
Oh my gosh, yes. I watched a whole video about, like, what if Titanoboa, and then there was also, like, some sort of prehistoric crocodile thing. It's like, what if these were still alive today? And I believe that, Titanoboa would be in South America, if I'm not mistaken.
Channel field trip.
Yes, oh my gosh. I don't know if there still is a statue of Titanoboa somewhere. I think there is, but I don't know where it is, and I want to see it. I want to see it in person. It's just like
a long
taken
plushie
size.
on it.
Yes. I want a Titanoboa plushie. If anybody out there is listening to this and you're like an awesome plushie maker and you want to make me a Titanoboa plushie, even if it's not 100% life size, as long as it's giant, I want it. Just to, like, give it a hug, you know?
Yeah.
Anyways, back on topic. I thought that the fight between the two dragons in the parade was really funny.
Can you repeat part of that? You cut out a little bit.
Oh, the part in the parade when they were fighting in the two dragons, I thought it was funny.
Oh, yeah, no, I like that. I thought that was a really neat idea.
I think, there's enough humor for little children, but also there was that little bit of humor for, like, adults.
When the two mashed together.
Yeah. That was really funny. And, like, I don't know if all the kids are gonna get that, but the kids will definitely get the vomit part. And, you know, do you ever, like, watch kids' movies when you're older and just, like, forget that some jokes you would have totally missed them when you were little, but you just get them now? Do you ever just, like, forget
Bold of
that
you
that's
to
a
assume
thing?
I get innuendo.
Oh. Okay, never mind.
No,
But,
no,
like,
like,
no,
I get some of it. But then I'll be watching it with, like, friends, and they'll be like, oh, ha ha ha, and I'll be like, I guess I'm still 6.
Oh my gosh. But, like, I'll be, like, watching a regular TV show or something, you know, just, like, stuff that's TVMA or something, I don't know. And then I'll watch, something that's, like, G-rated. And then have a, and then there's, like, a joke or something that I get, and I don't really, I don't know. I don't really think anything of it, but I would have thought anything of it if I were, like, a parent, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's hard for me to put myself into the perspective of, like, I'm watching this and I get that joke, and then, I don't know, all kids are different. Some of them might get it at some point, depending on how old they are. Some of them won't care, and then if you're a parent, it's like, oh, well, I can make the assumption that my child doesn't get this. Right? So it's weird to think about, but then again, like, if you're not making a joke that's, like, super bad, I don't see the harm in it.
Yeah, no, I don't... yeah, I don't see any harm in like jokes and stuff. I don't know, you just said everything that I needed to say. Yeah, I think it's I think that this was I just think it was a well balanced moment of humor right there. So yeah, props to Wish Dragon for making it funny. Because then you have movies like what, Awake, that had zero humor for anybody, and then it just made it sad.
And while we're still talking about something that's like technically like a fight scene, I'm doing the air quotes, but you can't see me.
Mm-hmm.
I liked some of them because they always had neat ideas that didn't feel like really contrived. Like the first one, how they used the door when he got his foot stuck. I liked that.
Oh yeah.
It kept me entertained, and I paused the movie at like just the right time as someone was flying towards the camera out of the door, and it was honestly hilarious. I can send you a screenshot if you want. But
please.
Yeah, I really liked that, and like how like they had like at the end the bald guy like knocked while he's like trying to like hold the door back. I enjoyed that, and I liked when they were like flying along in the air on their date. Like just it was neat stuff that especially because it was animation too, that they were able to pull that off in a way that was like satisfying to the audience. I enjoyed that they did that, because you wouldn't have had the same effect if it was a live action movie.
Oh yeah, definitely. A lot of this would be really weird if it were live action. There was also some moments, like in those moments when they were having a fight scene or whatever. I have captions on when I watch the movie. I don't know if you do, but there were several moments in this movie where it would just go, "Short man yelps." Like many moments, it just said "Short man yelps," and it was so funny to me. I don't know why. It's like he would get whacked with a door and go flying, and it'd be like, "Yeah!" And then the caption would be "Short man yelps," and I thought that was great. He didn't have a name; it was just Short Man.
Just, sometimes when you're short, all people see is like, that's a short person. So, you know what? I wouldn't have minded if he had a name. Name your short people, please. This is a joke, if you couldn't tell. But also
Jenna's just having self-love issues about her shortness.
I am an advocate for the short people who are not getting named.
She was ashamed that her third wish actually would have been longer legs.
No, I wouldn't do that. I mean, I'm fine with my height. I wouldn't waste a wish on height,
Yeah. Sure.
I wouldn't.
I believe you.
Nuh-uh.
Oh my gosh. I've been really, really short shaming you this whole time, haven't I? I'm sorry.
You have.
It's just easy.
Oh, thanks.
Oh my gosh. Okay, but it's not. It's no malintent. No malintent. I swear.
Mm-hmm.
I can't be mean to you. You gave me all your physics stuff. I
gave you most of it. The good stuff, anyway.
Okay. Jenna's keeping the secret to the AP test at her house.
Well, no, most of it I got rid of because I'm not smart, so it wouldn't have helped you.
No problemo, my guy. But anyways, Jenna, which was your favorite character in this movie, and why?
I kind of liked Lena. I can't really say why. I liked her. She wasn't super annoying. Sometimes, like, when you get these movies, the love interest character, they make really annoying because, like, they don't give her a personality or just, like, an actual character trait beyond, I am the love interest and my sole purpose is to exist for the desire of the main character. But I liked how she actually like complemented the main character's arc in a way that was still her own and kind of added a little nuance to the story. Like, instead of just having this kid who's like, I come from more humble beginnings and I'm trying to make something of myself in college because that's what everybody around me expects me to do. I like how she was like, oh, well, I'm from like more rich standing, but still, like, even though I have all of these things and I'm trying to like make a future for myself, I'm still missing something. Like, I don't know, I liked that, and I liked her, like, because, you know, main character in this movie was like listening to this wish dragon that was kind of not the best influence sometimes, and she'd be like, yeah, I want you to apologize, and I was like, you get that apology, girl, you deserve it.
Yeah, no, I honestly, I really liked Long because because Long changed a lot, for the better, you know, because he started out like very shallow, as you mentioned, and not a good influence, and he was like, he didn't understand the meaning of life, you know, and that's what he was sent to Earth to learn. And, you know, the protagonist helped him learn that, and he overcame, you know, his issues and everything, and he grew from it. He came to terms with his past, and he realized what he had done wrong, and he knew how to fix it, and he ended up being selfless and kind, and is gonna go make a difference in the world, and I respect that character arc. So yeah, I did like Long.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't dislike any of the characters we were supposed to like. Sometimes Long annoyed me because I'd be like, what are you talking about, dude? Like, you know, and then, like, Din would listen to him, and it would be like, come on. At least he has an excuse of being locked in a teacup for a couple thousand years, but, like, really? But also, I liked his mom, too. I meant to say that.
Oh yeah, her.
Yeah, because, like, even though she was, like, hard on him, and, like, she was also really trying, and she knew that she was hard on him, but it was because she, like, actually cared about him and wanted him to do well. And, like, even if, like, she maybe, like, went too far or, like, wasn't totally considering, like, him, she would kind of, like, realize and try to make it better. And I don't know, I just really liked the mom and how she actually existed.
She's just trying her best, yeah.
Yeah, she's just really
she's not
trying.
Dead. She's alive. That's helpful for a mom in a children's movie.
Yep.
I just wanted to say this screenshot you just sent me is fantastic. I love it.
Isn't it? I don't know how I got so lucky.
If I actually get around to posting on Instagram this time, I will include that in the, what is it, carousel of the post. See, I'm gonna spam Instagram and TikTok soon, since school is ending, like, tomorrow. I'll have more time. It'll spam. Actually... yeah, wait for some spam, because there's like 4 episodes that I haven't actually posted about. So that's gonna happen. You're just gonna see a lot from me this summer. I want to do some daily stuff. I just kind of went way off track of that conversation. Wow. But, like, I don't know, is there like, yes, I love them all. Is there anything else that we needed to talk about for this movie? Or have we covered?
I liked the beginning bit when they met as kids. I think that was a good... Because it would have been weird if we just, like, got introduced to this character and he's like, oh, I need to become rich to crash this girl's birthday party because, like, we were best friends as kids. Like, it would have been weird if we didn't have that context.
Plot twist, they actually weren't, and he's just a stalker. Plot twist, he assumed some other guy's identity.
Oh my god. Where's the real kid?
Oh my gosh. Body snatcher.
That was...
Plot twist, he's actually the kid who made fun of Din when he was younger, and then somebody kidnapped Din and he just took his house, and then his mom raised him as Din, and then now he's like, I'm Din.
Film theory. It's been a while since we've called you.
Oh my gosh, film theory. Hi. Yeah, that would be cool. We should get some film theory action. But anyways, I think that covers it thoroughly. We've went on a lot of tangents during this one. I want to make sure that we're not forgetting anything before I start the outro again.
No, I think we're good.
Cool beans. So yeah, like I said, I'll be posting more on Instagram and TikTok, especially over the course of the summer. It'll be more consistent. If you're listening on YouTube, make sure to hit subscribe, like, and comment, and all that good stuff. If you're not listening on YouTube, you can probably follow us wherever you are. And you might want to check out our YouTube because we have videos that come out every weekend. This is my weekend. I don't know what I'm talking about. Actually, no, I do know what I'm talking about. Probably gonna talk about Loki, the first 2 episodes, which should be cool. And we also have some other cool things in the works, which you guys might hear more about coming up soon. So make sure to subscribe so you don't forget, or so you don't miss anything. Follow us on Instagram, follow us on TikTok, all that good stuff, all this fun stuff. Honestly, if you've made it this far, we totally appreciate you so much. We love you. You're awesome. You're just a cool person for making it this far. And yeah, I just wanted to let you know that. But anyways, guys, thank you for listening. We'll see you next week. Jenna, anything to add?
How was that guy's leg moving the way it was? At one point, it was like bent up, but then out again. And like, legs don't work like that. So I'm sorry, that man wished for rubber legs, and you can't prove me wrong.
He's a ballerina, Jenna. Every ballerina
Clearly.
can do that.
Yep.
Okay, bye!